All right, let's dive into the 16th part of the Quran. Just imagine this. A powerful king builds a massive wall to stop chaos. An old man's prayer, which seems totally impossible, gets answered, and a newborn baby speaks right from the cradle. These aren't just fascinating old stories. They're packed with powerful lessons about leadership, faith, and the nature of miracles. So, let's get into it. So, you might be asking, what can these incredible stories really teach us about the challenges we face in our own lives? Well, we're going to be unpacking some key insights using this wonderful summary, Khulasat al-Quran, by Maulana Muhammad Elias Gaman, as our guide to find those answers. Okay, so our journey kicks off near the end of Surah Al-Kahf. And it's with the story of this really powerful, kind of mysterious king who is given these extraordinary abilities to travel all over the earth. Dhul-Qarnayn. Now, what's so cool is that this story doesn't just pop up randomly. It's actually a direct answer to a question that people were asking the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. They were really curious about this legendary figure, and so God revealed this story not just as a piece of history, but as a timeless lesson in what true leadership looks like. So who exactly was Dhul-Qarnayn? Well, think of a ruler with power and resources like we've never seen, all given to him by God. He journeyed to what they considered the ends of the earth. But here's the key part. He wasn't there to conquer. He was there to establish justice and order. And that brings us to his most famous achievement. He comes across this community that's being terrorized by these forces of chaos known as Ya'juj and Ma'juj. And he doesn't just fight them off. Nope. He uses his God-given skills and resources to build this massive, impenetrable barrier, an incredible feat of engineering that provided lasting security. It's really the ultimate example of using power for protection, not for oppression. So we've just seen the kind of power God can give to a human ruler, but now the Quran shifts gears completely. We move on to a different kind of power, the absolute, logic-defying, miracle-working power of God himself. As we step into Surah Maryam, we come across two stories that are just, wow. And this makes you wonder, right? When we're in a situation that feels completely hopeless, what is the true power of just turning to God sincerely when nobody else is watching? The story of the prophet Zakariyya illustrates this perfectly. I mean, here was a man who was very old, and his wife was unable to have children. By every single worldly measure, it was impossible. But in the stillness of the night, he called out to his Lord privately, praying for a righteous son to carry on his work. And the response from God? It was immediate and completely miraculous. Against all the odds, God answered that secret prayer, giving him the good news of a son, Yahya, who you might know as John the Baptist. He was even given a unique name, one never used before, to show that he was a special gift, a direct answer to an impossible prayer. But as incredible as that is, the surah then transitions to an even more profound miracle. The spotlight shifts to Maryam, or Mary, this incredibly pious and devout woman who was chosen by God for a truly unique and amazing honor. Just picture the scene. Maryam presents her newborn baby, Isa, or Jesus, to her people, and they immediately start accusing her of the worst. And right in that moment of intense crisis, the ultimate miracle happens. The infant speaks from the cradle. He defends his mother's honor and declares his mission right then and there, a servant and a prophet of God. So let's just put these two side by side for a second. With Zakariyya, you have a miracle that overcomes biological odds, and it's a direct answer to a heartfelt prayer. With Maryam, you have a miracle that just completely rewrites the laws of nature, a direct act of God's creative power. One continues a personal legacy, the other becomes a sign for all of humanity. Both are just powerful, powerful reminders that God's power is so far beyond our limited understanding of what's possible. Okay, so these are amazing stories, but they're not just for entertainment, right? They're absolutely packed with practical guidance. So what are some of the key takeaways that we can actually apply in our own lives? Right at the end of Surah Al-Kahf, we get a powerful answer to a really fundamental question. We all try to do good deeds, but what are the conditions that make sure they're actually meaningful, that they're accepted by God? Well, according to the summary we're exploring, it really boils down to three essentials. First up, Iman, or true faith. That's the foundation. Next, you've got sincerity. Is the intention purely for God, or is it for show? And finally, accordance. Is the action itself in line with the Prophet's guidance? If you're missing any one of these, even the best-intentioned deed might not hit the mark. And it's not just about our actions, it's about our words too. I mean, look at the example of Prophet Ibrahim or Abraham. When he was trying to guide his own father away from idol worship, he didn't use harshness or judgment. He spoke with such compassion and wisdom. It's a timeless lesson that how we share the truth is often just as important as the truth itself. Look, what we've talked about today is really just scratching the surface of the profound wisdom in this part of the Quran. If you're feeling inspired to learn more, well, your journey definitely doesn't have to stop here. Because here's the core message, right? These stories about leadership, unwavering faith, and divine power, they aren't just history lessons. They are a living, breathing source of guidance that can really inform and elevate how we live our lives today.
By the way, the insights we've shared today come directly from that fantastic summary by Maulana Muhammad Ilyas Gaman. And if you want to read it for yourself, it's available along with so many other great resources right inside the Ummah 360 app.
So, to explore all these lessons and really continue your journey of discovery, go ahead and download the Ummah 360 app. It's super simple. You can literally just pause right now and point your phone's camera at the QR code on your screen. We've got one for Android and one for Apple. Or, hey, if that's not your thing, just open up your app store and search for UMMH360. Look for our logo and you can start exploring today. This explainer was prepared by the team here at Ummah 360, and it's based on the work Khulaset al-Quran by Maulana Muhammad Ilyas Gaman. So as we wrap up, I'll leave you with one final thought to reflect on. From the justice of Dhul-Qarnayn to the incredible faith of Zakariyya and Maryam, what is the one lesson from these stories that you're going to carry with you today? Thanks for joining us.